Hi, Shelly here. This last week I was watching a video from Sean Petite where she was gluing her different collage papers to each other so that she didn't have a backing sheet to kind of make a masterboard sheet. And I think I will try that at some point, but because I have so many small pieces of paper, I wanted to have a backing. So I thought, well, why don't we try gluing them to a piece of deli paper and see how that goes. So that's what I'm doing this week. I pulled out all of my papers and I'm just going in with some Mod Podge because I'm going to use these on journal pages, is what I think anyway. So I'm just pulling out some different paper. I'm not going to try to be really, I'm not trying to really coordinate, but I am one of those people where I like things well coordinated. So it's really hard for me to put down random colors that I feel don't really go well together. So like this, the brown one, the kind of the goldish brown one there that's off to the left is really bothering me. But I'm going to go with it and continue on, and we're going to see how it goes. And I want to be able to try things that are out of my comfort zone occasionally. And so that's what I'm doing here today, at least on this one. On my second one, I'm going to do basically the same thing, grabbing some different papers, but trying to do a mix of colorful papers. But I'm looking more at what kind of goes together this time. You know, I see these other people that take just random colors and put them together, and I always love how they bring it together in the end, almost always. But yeah, it's hard for me. On these next two, I kind of go in with some reds and greens more, but I'm putting some blue in there, trying to include some things that make me a little uncomfortable. Some of these combinations make me very nervous, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to pull them all together at the end, but we shall see. I had originally only planned to make a couple of these, but I got going and I'm just having so much fun. And of course I have the papers. I have the deli paper, I have the Mod Podge, so I decided to keep on going and make as many as I've got time for. On this one, I'm doing mostly yellows and reds. And then I thought, well, I should do a blue one since I kind of did the yellows and reds. So I'm doing a blue one. I was going to quit, but then I thought, well, I've got this whole box of pieces of tissue paper that I've stamped and stenciled on over the years. So I'm going to go ahead and do one of the tissue paper. And then I've got my envelope of pieces of my coffee dyed papers. And I thought, well, we got to do one of that as well. I put everything down on the back side of freezer paper, and so they came right up when everything was dry. And now I'm just cleaning up all my edges down to the 12 by 12 deli sheet. So in the end, I've got 8 sheets to do something with. We'll use a couple of them today for our project, but I seriously could have gone on much longer. So much fun. I pull out my art journal, and for my background, I'm just going to do a simple black background. I choose my first sheet, pull out some stencils and some paints, and I'm just going to go through and put some more interest, maybe some unifying interest would be the way to say it, on the top of my sheets. And now I'll do the same thing on my second sheet. I pull out my big letter stencil, and I'm going to go through and just put a few here and there on both sheets. I brought my Fiskars cutting mat over that I use for cutting fabric, and thought this would be easier to make my squares, and it was. This was nice, but you've got to look at my head in the way, sorry. As I'm editing this video, I'm laughing at myself that I could have just used my cutter for this whole thing and not made the lines on the back of the pages. But I guess I thought at the beginning I was going to use scissors to cut everything out, and then I thought, why aren't I using my cutter? So yeah, but if you ever do this, if you have a cutter, you could save a whole step. Next, I'm going to go through and make some of the connections on my letters from my stencil. And then I decided it'd be kind of fun to have a few circles as well. And since I used my old Creative Memories punch last week, I also have the circles. So I go through and cut some circles here and then make those stencil connections on the circles. Not sure what happened to the rest of this clip, but I've always wondered what it'd be like if you put the tissue paper with black markings on it and put it on a black background. So that's what I'm doing today, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I wish that I had started at my paper at the center of the middle instead of making it so that I have to remove the edge everywhere. Going through and trying to decide which squares I want to use and where do I want to put them. And then I'll go in with my thick matte gel and put them down on my page. Trying to make sure that I have them straight up and down, which isn't always easy. With my page dry, I decided to go in and outline everything with white to make each one stand out against that background. I really like how the background turned out, that you can still see the detail of the tissue paper, and there's that little bit of haze from the tissue paper. The one time I'm okay with the tissue paper not blending into the background 100%, but I thought it turned out pretty cool, and I would definitely do it again. I went back and forth on what colors to outline my shapes with, and decided I better just go with white. That stands out best, I think, on the dark background, and just makes a good contrast. Well, that's my project for today. I had a blast doing my Masterboard sheets and making this page. I love the texture. I love the tissue paper on the black background. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. Hey, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you'll join me in my next video. Thanks. Bye for now.